How do we get from this to this? That is, switching the form factor of our Podpoi from these kind of teardrop shapes to being the more spherical Contact Poi that we all know and love. Well, I'm going to help you out with that today. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, we're going to be talking about a relatively simple conversion that you can do at home that might get you a little bit more life out of your LED poi. But before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flowfests, Flowtoys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friends of the channel, Lei Muczynski and Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you both so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. So I don't really know if this is common knowledge out there or not, but there's actually a pretty easy way that you can convert your Podpoi, which are among the most popular LED poi that are out on the market, and be able to stick them inside of these spherical Contact Poi balls, and thus convert them essentially into Contact Poi, which I think are the most popular form factor for poi out there right now. So why might you want to do a thing like that? Well, I can think of a few reasons off the top of my head. Now, there are already several options out there for LED Contact Poi, but one of those things that the capsules inside of Podpoi really have going for them is that they're really comprehensive in terms of how you can program them. Now that Flowtoys has a smartphone app out there that allows you to help navigate the modes as well as create your own custom programs, that means that the capsules offer one of the most comprehensive programming options out there, and being able to have a set of Contact Poi that can do that is really a big bonus. In addition, you might have picked up Podpoi earlier in your flow journey and found that you just like all those contact tricks just so incredibly much. Maybe you want to get a set of Contact Poi, but you don't want to plunk down the entire amount of money it would take to get a new set of LED Contact Poi. So the conversion actually is a cheaper way to get there. Or perhaps you're just a tinkerer and like taking on projects like this. Honestly, there's no wrong reason for doing this. And just to state the obvious, yes, you can purchase sets of poi from Flowtoys that already have the Umoja spheres on them. They're called their Flowmoja poi. But some people just start off with Podpoi and want to make the conversion at some point. So I figured I would guide them through how to do it. And this actually personally came up for me recently because I'm working on a poi dance piece that required a lot of pretty intense programming of the LED poi. And honestly, I just found that capsules were the best fit for it. But at the same time, I'd already choreographed some contact rolls into it, so I needed the contact form factor. Best of both worlds to be found right here. Cool, so we are going to cover both how to make the conversion happen with the classic Podpoi that have the Smithy rope tethers, as well as the newer FPC tether Podpoi, because the techniques are just slightly different between the two of them. I'll go ahead and include links to the timestamps for each different one down below if you want to skip to that part of the video. Regardless of which set you intend to convert, you're going to need two things. The first is going to be a set of Podpoi from Flowtoys, and the second is going to be a set of Umoja spheres from Lanternsmith. I do have promo codes with both companies, so you can get a discount on your order. You can use the code DREXFactor2023 with a 3 instead of an E and a 0 instead of an O at checkout over at flowtoys.com. And you can use the code DREXFactor with a 0 instead of an O over at Lanternsmith. Both of those codes get you discounts on those companies' products. And just to put this out there, if you're doing the conversion the other way around, that is, you have a set of Umoja poi from Lanternsmith and you want to add LEDs to them, I would recommend purchasing both a set of capsules from Flowtoys as well as a set of their tethers and handles. The reason being that Flowtoys does something special with the ends of their tethers to make them fit inside of the ends of the capsules that Lanternsmith poi do not do by default and are kind of a pain in the butt to set up yourself. So I would just get the tethers from Flowtoys if you could. And I hope you will pardon my very scuffed up Umoja sphere here because it is very well loved at this point. All right, so let's start this off by converting a set of classic Podpoi with Smithy rope and adding a set of Umoja spheres to them. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove this retaining ring that is on the end of the shell around the capsule. You're going to do that by pulling upwards on one of these ends of the retaining ring, and that's going to allow you to slide it off completely of that silicone shell. You're going to slide it down. We're going to come back to that in just a second here. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get the capsule outside of the shell. Here's how that happens. You're going to want to grip the capsule, reaching inside the petals here, and you're going to want to find a place where you can add a little bit of pressure out here on the bottom of the shell next to the button, and you're going to push until you can get the capsule free. Sometimes you'll wind up having it pull off this little retaining ring right here. Sometimes the retaining ring stays on. We're going to be removing it in a second anyway, so if it falls off, that's totally fine. But you should wind up now with an empty shell, and you can go ahead and set that aside for the time being. Our next step is that we're going to go ahead and remove this plastic retaining ring from the side of the capsule that has the button on it. How you do that is you're going to go ahead and find this little spot here where there's a gap because it's not a continuous ring, and you're going to pull just a little bit on that until it comes loose, and then the rest of the ring should come loose as well. Once again, set that aside for right now. Our next move is to remove this little rubber band that we have here on the opposite end of the capsule. That is the end that has the tether coming out of it. So we're going to go ahead and just slip our finger a little bit under that rubber band to start rolling it off the end of the capsule. And now we can remove the capsule from the tether. We're going to reattach the two in a second, but for right now, we want to detach it. So open up the capsule just enough to be able to remove the end of the tether and keep those two sides of the capsule together. You're not going to want to lose those. Now, we're going to want to remove both the retaining ring as well as the rubber band. Please note there's a washer here, usually on the other end of the tether. We are not removing that. We're only removing first this little rubber band. Again, put that aside. And next, we are removing this three-pronged retaining ring. This might take a little bit of jimmying to get it through here because sometimes the washer is a size that is just slightly bigger than the retaining ring, but it should come relatively easily. Now you can set that aside. Our next step is to take the Umoja sphere. Now please note, all Umoja spheres have both a narrow side, and this is usually the side that has the words Lanternsmith and Umoja 90mm on it, and the other end which is wider and has no text on it. We want to take the end of the tether, that is the one that has that washer on it, or the flat end, and we want to poke it through the narrow end of the Umoja sphere, that is the one that has the text on it. We want to thread it all the way through and out to the other side. Now we want to go ahead and take our capsule and go ahead and open up the end of that capsule, that is the one that doesn't have the button on it, and you're going to insert the end of the tether into it and snap the two ends back together. You want to make sure that it's pretty snug and the end of the tether is not coming back out. From here, you want to go ahead and push the capsule back through the Umoja sphere. It'll go most of the way without much resistance, but then you'll hit a point where you do feel some resistance, and that's okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to take our thumbs and push the end that has the button attached to it so that we get the other end to come out through the other side of the Umoja sphere. So we should have just a little bit of the capsule showing off of the side of the Umoja sphere that has the text on it. This is the end that has the tether. And now we have completed our first conversion to a set of Contact Poi here. You'll note that the button for the capsule rests just inside of the top of the sphere here, so it's not likely to accidentally get pushed. And we now have this little end of the capsule sticking out on the other side. And yes, that is kind of baked in. There's no way to get rid of that. Cool. So now you've got one Contact Poi, and you want to perform the exact same operation with your other Podpoi. One thing I recommend doing after you've completed each conversion is taking the rubber band, the plastic ring, and the retaining ring and actually storing them inside of the empty shell. So you have all the parts together if you ever want to convert your set of Podpoi back, which there's a variety of reasons that you might want to. And this just makes it a lot more convenient to have all the pieces ready when that happens. All right, cool. So now let's talk about how to do the conversion from a set of FPC Podpoi, that is the Podpoi with the thicker FPC tethers, and sticking the Umoja spheres on those. So this is actually going to be super similar to how we converted the set with Smithy rope. You're going to start off by looking for this plastic retaining ring that is going to be on the end of the shell that is closest to the tether. You're going to want to go ahead and stick your finger underneath one of these prongs on it, and that is going to help give you enough leverage to get that retaining ring off completely. Go ahead and slide that down the tether. We're going to come back to that in a second. Next, we're again going to grab onto the capsule with one hand, and we're going to look for a place where we can apply a little bit of pressure here on the other side of the shell. I'm also sticking a thumb inside of the shell to help move it and push the shell completely off of the capsule. Put the shell aside for right now. Now, this is going to look really, really similar to the setup from the Smithy rope set of Podpoi, with one crucial difference. There's another plastic retaining ring on the other side of the poi, but we'll deal with that in just a second. To remove this first retaining ring, that is the one that is right next to the button here, I'm going to go ahead and once again stick my thumb right next to one side of the retaining ring where there's the gap here, and I'm going to use that leverage to go ahead and pull the retaining ring off completely. You don't need to put too much pressure on this, it just takes a little bit. You're going to set aside that retaining ring, and now we're going to do the same thing on the other side of the capsule. I'm going to look for that gap in the retaining ring here, and I'm going to go ahead and stick my thumb right on the edge of it and apply just a little bit of pressure to get the retaining ring to separate, and then I can pull it off of the capsule completely. Once again, we're going to go ahead and open up the capsule really, really gently here, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the tether from the end of the capsule. Let's keep those two ends of the capsule together. They're going to be important. Next, we go ahead and take the retaining ring and take it off of the tether, and then the other retaining ring and take it off of the end of the tether. They should both slide off pretty easily. And now we go ahead and take our Umoja sphere, and remember, the end that we want to put onto the tether is the one that is more narrow. It has the text around it. We go ahead and push the end of the tether through that end of the Umoja sphere that has the text on it. We thread it all the way through, and when it comes out the other side, we go ahead and we take our capsule, and we want to go ahead and just gingerly open the side of the capsule that has the opening in it, not the button, but the opening, just slightly, and we want to insert the end of the tether inside of it. Now please note, you want to stick the end of the tether as far as it'll go in here. It's actually going to touch the end of the battery. We then go ahead and close up the end of the capsule. It should once again be pretty snug here. And we want to go ahead and thread the tether back through the Umoja sphere. And when we encounter resistance, we want to go ahead and stick our thumbs on either side of the button end of the capsule, and we want to go ahead and push the capsule all the way through so we get the entirety of this end of the capsule through. You'll note that there is basically a little ridge and then a dip on this end of the capsule. You want to push it so far through that the dip has come completely through the end of the Umoja sphere. And there we go. We now have one poi completed. Next, you want to do the next one. And just like we did with the Smithy rope Podpoi, you want to go ahead and take all the hardware that you took out of the shell and go ahead and store it with the shell to make sure it doesn't get lost. And again, that way you can make the conversion back anytime you want. Awesome. So let's see those new Flowmoja poi rip, shall we? Podpoi to Flowmoja Poi, I'd love to see the results. Please post photographs or video to Instagram and tag me. I am at DrexFactor on the platform, and I would love to see the results of your hard work. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to help other people find it and to help my channel grow. This video would not be possible were it not for the kind support of all of these lovely people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon. They and the people listed down in the description help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. Thank you one and all so very much for your very generous support. And if you out there watching are not currently a supporter but you'd like to become one, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. You can do that at the link down in the description or the card that just popped up if you are watching on YouTube. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, and even better than that, you'll be helping me out in my mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the whole wide world. So go check that out, please and thank you. And if you'd like to check out more of my videos on poi equipment, including reviews, I will go ahead and leave a link to a playlist of those videos down in the description as well as up here on screen if you are watching on YouTube. Also, the YouTube algorithm thinks that you might like this top video here because it's popular amongst viewers on my channel, so maybe give that a look as well. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Peace.